Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Good in Motion podcast. For today, we have an interesting chat conversation happening with my friend Robyn Kay. Hi, Robyn. How are you?
Hi, I'm great, Juliette. Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. I'm excited. So we have a few interests in common, but the first time we met was actually at Othership, which is a spa in Toronto. I love everything wellness related. So I'm so happy we just made a new connection in such a peaceful environment.
Yeah, and that was my first time ever at Othership. So it was a
Oh,
very
yes.
special night for me.
Yeah, I
So it was
forgot
special that
about
you were there.
this. We went to
Yeah.
that Yorkville location, and then last time we returned and went to the Adelaide location, which I really liked too. It's
Yeah.
smaller.
Yeah, it's smaller, it's intimate.
And so what we have in common as well is Tony Robbins' worlds. And we'll talk about this in a minute. I know you're extremely involved in the Tony Robbins universe. But first, how would you like to introduce yourself today?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm an acting coach. I teach the Meisner Technique at my own studio that I created in 2013.
Wow.
And it's a little boutique theater, and I'm just an acting coach that's for all things truth and connection and wellness. Every part of bettering human beings is really what I stand for in life.
2013. So congratulations. It's been over 10 years, like 12 years of
Yeah.
having. Did you have your studio when you started? Or
January of 2013 was the first time I had a class, and I did it
okay.
out of my apartment. And my first class was just a free class that I called all the actors I knew and was like, okay, let's do a class and stay for a month. And then it just continued from there.
That's awesome. And like what got you into acting?
I've acted all my life. I've been an actor, performer,
Okay.
singer. I lived in New York. I studied Meisner Technique and acting in New York. And it was a technique that I fell in love with so much. And when I moved back to Toronto from New York, I didn't have the same feeling that I had in New York. So I really wanted to create a studio that gave me the same community and connection and life that I had in New York. And so I did it with Robyn Kay Studio, and it really created exactly what I was looking for.
When you talk about that feeling that you were looking for in Toronto, was it that community feeling or something else?
It's a feeling of community, but not just socially. It's when people are working together, everybody's working for personal growth, for career growth. You know, we're all helping each other for growth. So you're not necessarily social friends with everybody, but a community where you can push each other to the next level. And, you know, in acting, the best way to get jobs is word of mouth. Someone's working on a film, they need an actor. Someone needs, you know, a location or people to work as part of the crew. So it happens by word of mouth. And when you watch somebody go through their own personal growth, you have a connection to them like you have with no other kind of people, right? When you see somebody at their most vulnerable, and you allow people to see you at your most vulnerable, when you're really breaking through, you know, to the next level of anything you're trying to achieve, those are bonds that you have for life. That's the kind of community I wanted to create, that's creative and really standing with each other through breakthrough, through transformation.
And is this related to what you teach as well? Like you talk about keyword, the Meisner technique?
Meisner Technique, yes.
Meisner's technique. Okay.
So Meisner Technique is a technique of acting. And if you want to learn how to be an actor, the most important thing or the base of it is learning how to be more of the human that you were born to be, that you were created to be, right? So it's really being in touch with all of your emotions, really understanding your deepest truth. And at the same time, that means getting over your personality, who you think you are. It's not really the deepest truth of yourself. I teach people this technique, and it's based on active listening so that you focus on something outside of yourself and leave yourself alone to really express who you are at the deepest level.
Okay.
Right. So that's a difficult thing to do because you have to give up comforts, the comfort of the identity that you create for yourself, the comfort of, oh, I'm always an overachiever. I'm good at getting A's in school, or I'm, at my job, my reports are always handed in early. Or if you're the opposite, if you're the rebel or the bad girl or the bad guy, you have to give up the way you're comfortable with getting attention so that you can really allow yourself to be in your truth. And it's an uncomfortable process, but it's the most rewarding thing there is in life.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why when I say it's an acting technique, it is to become an actor so that you can step into any life that the script dictates, any script that you look at, you can really step into somebody else's life. But it's also for just human beings who want to give up, the identity that they created for themselves or who they've been being in favor of really getting to what are you doing here on earth? Who were you created to be? And of course, that's why I love Tony Robbins so much, because he is the best at doing that.
Yeah, I agree. There's so much I can see between what you're sharing now and what he teaches through his conferences. We want to bring our most authentic self into the world and just be connected with who we are. What's interesting about what you just said and what you're teaching is that when I think about acting, I'm thinking about taking someone else's identity. And what you're emphasizing on right now is how to step into your real self. So how does that fit together?
Great question. So the definition of acting, as Meisner actually said, Sanford Meisner, the great Sanford Meisner, acting is living and behaving truthfully and fully in an imaginary circumstance. Okay. So you step into a character's life. So that character may be a doctor or a murderer, right? You step into somebody else's life, but when those things that happen to that character or that story, you have to bring your own humanity to it. And that's why there are a lot of different actors who can play the same role, but it would look a lot different with different actors because, the way I get angry is different from the way you genuinely get angry. And the way that I love or the way that I really speak, when I'm speaking from my heart really looks different. My authentic looks different from your authentic, right? By definition.
Yeah.
Because we want to find our unique delivery of words, right? So it's stepping into this imaginary circumstance where, now I need to travel to space and I'm an astronaut, but I still have to bring humanity to it. I still have to bring a human being to it, right? So it's, if I'm having trouble in space, how does trouble, look on my face, or how does that get expressed through me? Right? I really genuinely have to express it from myself. So there's another quote, and I can't remember who made this quote, but acting isn't lying. It's telling the deepest truth of self.
Wow. I think you're changing completely my perception of acting. I had no idea.
Okay.
I really thought that when a script is written, like, of course, the actor is going to look different depending on who gets the role. But I thought because the script would just be that set in stone character that everybody would play the same way. I think, I'm just stepping into this world I didn't know anything about. It's super interesting.
No, thank you. But that's what everybody kind of thinks, especially new actors, right? And when you're a young actor and you walk in, you're like, oh, it's supposed to be this way. I have to do it this way. Like we have an idea of what the writer wants and the casting director wants. And then we try to give the casting director what they wanted. And then they don't want that. And it's all a game that you never have to play. You get the opportunity to go in there and show a bit of yourself, and in that way they can decide, and they discover what they want. It's a creative process to bring yourself to the surface and allow people to see you, right? And then the right roles will come for you, and the right, you'll be accepted into the right scripts and the right stories that you were meant to tell.
And is there a 5 minute technique? I'm sure it comes with practice and a lot of different exercises, but is there something you and I could try right now?
Absolutely. This
Okay.
is the whole technique. It's the
Okay.
entire technique. So you're going to look at me. You're going to pick up on something that's actually going on in me. Something that we can all agree is there. Curly hair, right? Whatever. Beautiful, beautiful face. No, just joking. Right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Right? So you pick up on something that's going on, and the other person will listen and repeat what you hear. So listen and repeat what you hear is vague on purpose.
Yeah, okay,
So
okay.
immediately I saw your brain go,
I was like, what's going on?
what does that mean? So we start the technique just like that. So you pick up on something that you get from me, and I'll listen and repeat, and then you listen and repeat, and we go back and forth. So you pick up on me.
And do I say something? Do I?
Yeah, something that's actually going on, something that's actually there. So I say gold necklace, because that's what I get from you. So now you listen and repeat, gold necklace,
Gold necklace.
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 gold necklace.
Gold necklace.
You changed it. Repeat.
I did.
Okay, but so then it keeps going. So when I pick up on something new, a new moment happened, like you changed it,
Yeah,
right? Then I say you changed it, and then you repeat, I changed it.
I changed it.
Right? So we go moment to moment. Every time something like changes, there's a new beat, we change it. Right? But only when something really makes you change. Right? So when we were repeating, I noticed in you, you said it the first time, gold necklace, and you were nervous, you didn't know what you were doing. And then like the third time you were like, okay, you relaxed into it a little bit, gold necklace. And then you got a little smart. And then you're like, I'm going to change it, gold necklace. I'm going to make it interesting. Right? Right?
Yeah. I mean, in my brain, I was, oh, I don't know how to pronounce necklace correctly. This was what was going
Okay,
on.
so that's what's going on. Okay, great. I knew it came from your brain, right? So the point is outrunning the brain. That's
Okay.
funny. People, when you have an accent, that's what it is. You're worried that you're not pronouncing it right, so you change
Yeah.
the pronunciation, right? We want to get you to a place where you're just listening and repeating what you hear.
Okay.
The brain will do a number on you, right? That's what the mind does. It'll say, you're not saying it right. You're going to look stupid, right? But the premise of it is that two human beings just interacting and being with each other and giving energy and taking it back and giving more energy and taking it back. There's nothing more interesting in the world than two animals just interacting, right? That's why people go bird watching for hours just to see beautiful bird in nature, right? Or I have the Planet Earth series, right? That's what we are as human beings. Every bit of your behavior is fascinating, is beautiful. There are so many different processes happening in you in this moment. You're so far from boring. It's not even a joke, right? We sit at the mall or we sit in the park watching people have conversations. Everybody does it. People watching is an activity that people do. So it's just a give and take. So the brain will say all these things, we should do something different, but it's the most simple thing. All you need to do is listen and then repeat what you hear. And the more I truly listen to you, the more connected I am to you. And then the more interesting I am to watch. And the more you listen to me, the more connected you are to me and the more interesting you are to watch. Got it? Because then all this other stuff starts happening.
So a successful exercise is when you don't listen to your brain?
100%, right? We're really building a muscle, and it's a muscle to focus 100% to the other person's voice. Really listen. What tends to happen is you start listening to your own voice, And you want the attention and focus 100% on the other person, and trust that the other person has 100% on you. So it's even. When you get out of your head and you're really in this moment and really truly listening, that's when you're compelling to watch. That's when you're really in your wild, you're an animal, you're free. People love watching that. And they don't know exactly why. We love watching a free human, mostly because we're all a bit trapped in something, whether we know it or not.
It's so funny because as you say that, like I listen to what you say, and also I'm like, of course I have interview questions. I'm like, okay, I love this subject. I could ask about this, this, and that. And like, oh, we need to talk about this too. Would you say it comes with practice, or for interviewers and hosts, it's just going to happen that I have to link this topic to the next question, the next topic?
Here's my answer to that it's a muscle. It's really a muscle, being in the moment. Everybody can learn it and everybody can get better at it. When you know your notes by heart, so just like an actor, when we know our lines by heart, we can get lost in a moment and we're not thinking of, oh, the next scene is, I'm going to make sure I have to remember that I hide his car keys in the next scene, right? We don't have to do that. It's just because we know it by heart. When you really know what you want to talk to me about, there's a lot of faith involved that it's going to come back around to that you are going to find the lull. There's going to be a lull and you're going to be like, okay, now's a good time to remember that I wanted to talk about this, right? Like that's how it works. And that's really how it works for me when I'm teaching, is that if I'm really focused, I don't have to think about all the things I have to remember to tell this actor. It will come out like while we're talking. Because it's just there. It's there's more intelligence in you than you're using. When you use your brain, it's a certain kind of intelligence, right? Very important, your brain intelligence, right? But really being with someone takes this intelligence, and you know things by heart, and you know things in your gut that you want to say, and you know things in your soul that are more important than even the notes you wrote down. Does that make sense?
It does. So I want to jump on that natural question that comes, which is, I find that active listening is such a skill that's important. That do you find frustrated sometimes in your interactions on a daily basis? Because I don't think that most people have this skill.
A lot of people do not, right? They're just waiting for their turn to talk. That's exactly right. Do I get frustrated? Not anymore, I think, is the answer. When I first really became conscious to the fact that I wanted to interact like truthfully, and other people are thinking and not really there with you, I would get really frustrated with people. But I think, the more you do it, the more accepting you are of yourself and your own flaws. The more you get to know yourself and how beautiful and wonderful you are, you also see how many conflicting things there are in you. And to never judge somebody, there's the obvious reason, oh, they may have a lot going on and they need to not be here with me right now. But there's also that some people seem like they're not really there and paying attention, but they are. If it's somebody who I'm very close with, you can say, like, are you listening to me right now? You can clarify. I think that comes with it. But the more you start listening to people, my coach always used to say, people are surprising. When you really listen to someone, you hear what's really going on in them. So it's harder to be frustrated with them just for not being perfect. None of us are.
Absolutely. It's the more I grow up, the more I feel the same way. That the things that looked easy are definitely not. That's the biggest lesson I'm having right now. I must ask you, because I feel that when you practice active listening and you give space for the person to express themselves, and also you're on a schedule. I feel this way maybe if I'm with a friend and I have somewhere to go and I do have specific communication, like specific things I need to address but I want to give them space as well. How
Yeah.
do you manage this, both active listening and being on a schedule?
Oh, that's such a good question. Here's the thing about active listening is if you're listening, really, it doesn't take much time for somebody to feel heard. And I guess that's what you're going for at the end of the day. You want this person to feel heard. Sometimes people don't know that they need to feel heard. The thing is, there's always a bigger truth. When you're with your friends, there's always a bigger truth. I think we need to say with our friends, like a little bit more often. I don't know if you've heard this sentence before: cut the bullshit, cut the shit, right? I really care about you. I hear you right now. Oh, I hear you're having troubles with your boyfriend. You know, if you need to be heard, I hear you right now, and make
Yeah.
them feel heard. Other part is, well, are you going to do something about it, or are you going to keep complaining about it?
Yeah.
I don't care how busy you are. You could be the most busy person or the least busy person. Giving up a moment of your time to be with someone is the most valuable thing you can give them. Your time. So you also have a right to say, I think you've complained about this enough. I hear your problem. If you want help with a solution now, let's get that done. You know, I have 5 minutes. We can come up with a few solutions. Or I hear you. I think you're stuck in that.
It resonates a lot. Perfect example. Yes.
Right. And really being truthful with somebody and saying, I've given you time. I hear you, and you have my whole heart and my whole, like, all of my care. But that's it. You know, it's time to cut it off. Right? Because if somebody
Yeah.
really, like, their entire life is falling apart and they really need you, you can always call someone and be like, I need 20 more minutes. I'm not going to make the appointment.
Yeah, you emphasize that if someone is in need to talk about something important, we can make the time for it. It's what life is about. And also something you said, I can't remember exactly how you phrased it. You did allow space for someone to complain. It's just at some point, if they keep complaining again and again about it, then, okay, can we talk about a solution to move forward, please?
Right. But you'll know in you when you've had enough.
Yeah.
When you have to say, you either want to keep complaining about this, or I can help you with a solution. What would you like to do? Right? I'm not just here for you to complain to. We all do it. We all get stuck on, oh, this problem. But then maybe the problem doesn't need to be in my life anymore. Maybe I need to cut that thing off. Like, what's the solution? I've been complaining about this forever. And then we kind of don't see it. And we need our friends to say, yeah, either there's a solution or we're done with it. Let's move on.
And this is where I recognize the Tony Robbins approach,
Yeah.
which is to, just like take action. It's time to take action and change your life. At which point did you learn about Tony Robbins and his
Good
teachings?
You know, my dad used to play it in the car when I was a kid. I remember being 13 years old, and my parents went to Hawaii with Tony Robbins
Wow.
for 10 days and came back as vegetarians, and their whole lives were changed, and they were not the parents that left me. They were these people who were like amazing, just such an inspiration to me. You know, through my parents, I really lived Tony Robbins before I actually saw him live on my own, which would have been 11 years after that, when I was 24. So we're going on over 20 years of Tony Robbins. He's the best. He's the best there is. I mean,
Yeah.
I think we can all agree.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I didn't know that about your parents. And I think it's awesome. I think it's powerful to go as a couple, because I met some people who came by themselves and they had their partner staying at home. There's so much transformation that happens during a conference, even a virtual one, that I can't even imagine the dynamic that you have to manage and live with when you go through so much growth, and like explaining it to the other person waiting for you at home. So I think it's powerful that your parents went together.
Yeah, it must be so difficult for people, to come home and then have to reintroduce themselves to their partner. My parents really did everything together. They worked together, they ran marathons together, anything that they wanted to try, they did together. So, I mean, I really had a really good example of when you have a partner. I'm not married, but that's really the best. I mean, look, it's one way to do it. Some people are great with having separate living spaces and
Yeah.
living apart.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but I think what it gives you is someone who's always on your side, that you know is always on your side, who is willing to grow with you.
Mm.
I think there's no better gift in life because you really do go through so much transformation, and you can't underestimate how difficult it is to, once you transform, to not get pulled back into your old habits and to things that don't serve you. So having someone, for accountability, to challenge you to move forward, and then someone else who's in the same mindset of, okay, keep growing, right? Because life doesn't end when you have your Tony Robbins transformation. It
Yeah.
only keeps growing, right? Life is about growth from beginning to
Yeah.
end. That means every single day you're being born again and a part of you is dying a little bit, right? And so
Yeah.
I'm going
I
on
feel
over
that.
20 years of it, and the process doesn't get easier. I'm more comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I'm
Mm.
more comfortable about, saying to myself, like, it's just an excuse. You're living in excuses. You need to step up. So to have a partner like that would be, I think it's magic. I think it's also really important. I know you go with your partner.
Yes, we've been to Unleash the Power Within. I'm going to Health and Wealth Mastery in Fiji. And you know what's interesting is that when Ray, so my husband, went to Health and Wealth Mastery in Fiji, when he came back,
Yeah.
he was so different. First, because there's a juice detox, he was lighter physically. Like behind his eyes, I don't know. I couldn't recognize him. We hugged because we didn't see each other for almost 2 weeks with the flights and the whole trip. And I couldn't find him. He felt like a stranger. And I
Yeah.
told him it was so weird. I think it took maybe 2 to 3 days because I think I got used to the new him, but also it came back to us as well. So there was a bit of a merging.
Okay.
But yes, that change, sorry, was
Yeah.
so strange to
It's
experience.
strange,
Yeah.
right? Did you have any fears in that moment? Like, did you?
Mm. Yeah, good question. And I absolutely did. I felt it. What happened is that I just realized how much he changed. And I had a fear that he would change so much. And for me, I was saying like he would grow so much compared to me that at some point we might like be disconnected and break up even
Right.
because we wouldn't understand each other. So in my head, there was an alarm saying, you need to step up. You need to take all the chances now to step up because he's going up and you need to like grow with him. Otherwise, you're going to lose him. So there was a real fear in this moment. And I remember during that trip, he met a couple of new friends from Seattle and in the US. And he was going there for like some watching parties, and he was like, you're coming with me? And in my head I was thinking, I don't have time, I don't have the money to go there. But because of that fear, I just committed to go with him because I knew that there would be more growth, more new friends that I don't know about, and
Right.
this was my chance to catch up.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
so taking a leap like that, that's
Mm-hmm.
the courage that a lot of people lack, and that's what would create the divide between two people.
Yeah.
When you're so afraid that you're like, okay, you just go without me, right? And we play the victim at home.
Mm-hmm.
But so that's a huge, you should be really acknowledged for that step to walk into something that you're uncomfortable with, right? Because it's really, you're fighting for the relationships to stay together and for you to grow with him.
Yeah, thank you for making me remember this moment. It was really
Yeah.
a choice.
It's beautiful, right? I know there are times in my life where maybe I would be too scared to go, right? And then it only creates more of a divide. So it's beautiful, right? That spirit in you is probably something that he loved, to begin with anyway, that you are hungry for that growth. And I think that's what keeps people together. It's the hunger for growth together
Mhm.
that keeps you growing together. So when problems do arise, because problems always arise,
Yeah.
you'll be hungry to, combat it together,
Yeah, I
right?
can feel that. Yeah. Doing a transition from Tony Robbins to, I actually have this game that I mentioned to you, which is called The Wheel of Life. And it's completely inspired from Tony Robbins. It's one of the tools he uses and that I just love absolutely the most. So the Wheel of Life is composed, as you know, of multiple categories. There is celebrate and contribute, physical body, emotions and meaning, relationships, finances, and time. I prepared questions related to each category that I will ask you because this show is about wellness in real life. It's my chance to sit down with amazing women who created a business for themselves, ambitious women. And I'm always curious about the behind the scenes. Like, how do you balance it all? That's where wellness comes in. And so, what I'm going to do is spin the wheel for you, and
Yes.
I'll ask you a related question.
Okay.
Yes, I love it. Let's go.
Okay.
Okay, emotions and meaning.
Oh, my favorite.
So, my question for you is, what emotion have you been feeling most often lately?
Oh my gosh, this is such a vulnerable question. Do you know what? I'm gonna put myself out there. A lot of sadness has been coming up for me. Should I elaborate?
If you feel comfortable to.
Do you know what? I realized this. This was a big realization. Actually, yesterday, I walked around and I had this gratitude for every moment of my life. And I was like, all this like sadness and grief was coming up. And I didn't really know what was happening, but I was feeling it a lot. And then I realized that the last like about 4 months, I've been doing some difficult things and getting back to work in new ways. COVID was a really difficult time, and then I had 2 years after COVID where I was working with a business partner and it didn't work out, and it was a lot of failures after failure after failure, and I was a bit stuck. So I took kind of a break, and then the last few months I've been going to work, doing things, doing new things, finding new ways to market, finding new ways to use my business. And I think all the sadness of like the years of COVID, the 2 years that it just wasn't working out, and now bring us to 2025, where I feel like I'm starting again. I feel like I'm starting from scratch, basically. And all that, the grief of what I lost, I think has been coming up a lot. So every time I watch any kind of thing on Instagram, like I start crying. It just comes up a lot. I think that's a beautiful thing because yesterday I really walked around and I really felt grateful for like life, and colors started looking more vibrant to me. So I think sadness is a beautiful thing if you're willing to allow it and express it.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for being vulnerable about this question. Like when you talked about failures, and I know we're both in this world of self development, failures is you tried something new and you learned something from it. It can be such a strong word, and sadness can be attached to this experience. And also at the end of the day, it's growth. So it's beautiful. And I'm glad that you felt gratitude for this journey as well.
Thank you.
I will spin another,
Okay.
this time for myself.
Okay.
So
Or unless
you're
you
not
want
the
to tell
only
us,
one.
unless you
You,
want to say what emotion you've been feeling lately.
yeah, I can answer this one as well. What emotion have I been feeling most often lately? It would be, I know the feeling, now I need to name it. Upsetting, being upset, I think.
Okay. Like an anger upset or frustrated or sadness or frustrated.
Frustration, yes, exactly. I've been feeling frustrated because, and I'm actually writing a LinkedIn post about it. I was just doing this before because I always complain in the past years that I don't have the time to work on my dream business, which is this show. And now, and I committed to leave my job and go full time on it. So I remove that excuse of time. I even have my savings to give me the space to experiment. I removed all of these excuses, and yet I find myself being like, I have too many things to do to work on my dream job. Because I removed all of these excuses, I'm just left with my own BS,
Yeah.
which is, you're not doing the work. You have enough to pay for your bills now. You have all the time in the world. So if it's not working, it's just your fault at this point. And I like this feeling because I need it. It's a wake-up call. But also it's like, damn it. It's just, I need to do more. I need to take action. So it's definitely a wake-up call, but I've been frustrated. Yeah.
Okay, I love that. Frustration is the best, right? What does Tony say? When there's frustration, that means you're about to
break through.
Have a breakthrough. Yeah.
Okay. I'll take it. I'll take the frustration.
Take it. Get frustrated. Yeah.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah. Power move.
Yes. And we're like,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But make sure you direct the frustration at your excuses and at who you used to be, and you put steam behind the person that you are now becoming.
Okay, yeah, I need one of those other wooden thingy so I can put excuses and just fight through it.
Yes.
Punch it. Yes. We'll do one more.
Okay.
And then we'll move forward.
I like this wheel.
I'll spin it. Yes.
Ooh.
Okay,
finances.
Finances. It's on the edge. All right, let's see. What is one money habit that's really helped you feel more secure?
Oh, one money habit. You know what? I think when I stopped spending money on coffees and breakfast and snacks all the time, when I stopped eating out like daily.
Okay. I feel attacked.
Oh no! God. Oh no! No, it was.
This is me now.
Okay, I do go for a coffee on special occasions, but I mostly make it at home, and I make breakfast at home every day. And I do not go to a bar when I'm feeling like to have dinner, and like when I'm feeling like I need a reward. I've really worked hard. I go home and I make a really healthy dinner. The amount of money, if we're talking about feeling financially secure, I'm a big advocate for living below your means. So if you make $50,000 a year or if you make $1 million a year, you need to live below what you can actually afford. The less money I was making, the more money I would spend. The more money I was making, the less money I would spend because I was busier, right? And then COVID happened, and I was home all the time, but still I would just go buy something. So I think making it a point to not spend money throughout the day just makes me feel like, okay, like it's just, I feel like it's a waste of money. I'm throwing away money. I think I needed to respect the money more. And that's really like I would spend $10 every morning at Starbucks, right? Which times 365 10 is, $3,000. And that wasn't all. So you can save a lot of money that way. And you realize it's not really depriving yourself. It just became a habit.
So that means instead of grabbing that quick coffee or like, oh, I'm not going to pack a water like bottle. I'm just going to buy one with a protein bar. You would like plan at the grocery store before and like get the cheaper protein bar from the grocery store, that type of things.
I'll tell you something. I don't buy protein bars anymore at all.
Okay.
What I do is at my studio and at home, 2 different locations, I have eggs, I have waters, I have fruits, right? So if I'm out or if I'm really stuck somewhere, I'll go and I'll buy a fruit from the grocery store, because also protein bars are much more expensive than they should be, and they're very high in calories. For me, that's
I mean,
also
compared to egg whites, yeah, for sure.
compared to egg whites, but also with an egg, you get just full nutrition, and it's a full, I mean, we could have a discussion about this, but I can always make a snack at my office or at home.
I needed to hear this today because I have been this person and I could talk with you about eggs, no problem. Like each time you mention a topic, I'm like, whoa, okay, there's so many directions we could take right now. We have other occasions to talk about
To
all
talk
of this.
about eggs.
To talk about eggs.
But it's really the convenience. It's not that convenient in the end.
Yeah.
Because then you look at your bank statement at the end of the month and it's like $6, $10, $8, like all these little charges. And I'm like, why? I don't want them on my bank statement.
Okay, I know what I need to do after this conversation. I like that.
Yeah, keep your money. Keep your money.
Okay, let me think about what's my one money habit that's really helped me feel more secure. So right now my finances are a bit all over the place. But some things that I think I still have, it's definitely when I started learning about emergency fund. So for those who are not familiar with an emergency fund, it's a fund money you keep aside for emergencies, as simply as it sounds. And it's not money that's invested because you want to have access to it really quickly. People tend to say it should be 3 to 6 months of what you spend every month. So for me, I follow the 3 months rule. For example, it's like if I spend $3,000 every month, then I need $9,000 in that savings account. And it's been helping me a lot. Did I use it always for emergencies? No, but I'm happy that it's there.
That's great. That's an amazing habit, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I could see how that could make you feel much more confident.
Yeah, you never know what can happen. So
you never know. I mean, COVID happened and I needed my savings. So
yeah,
very important.
A lot of people had trouble during that season of life.
Yeah.
So thank you for playing the Wheel of Life game with me.
So much fun. I loved it. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm having fun too. I want to ask you, and you talked about it already a bit, what is one failure, quote marks, you had recently that you feel comfortable sharing with us?
I think my failure was trusting the wrong person. And I brought someone in to my business and treated that person like a partner. It was just a disaster. It was a disaster. And I let it go for too long. And it was, when you trust somebody more than you trust yourself. And I think my biggest failure from that was abandoning myself. I abandoned my own intelligence and my own judgment and my own knowledge and expertise. I really didn't trust it. I trusted his more. And I think that was the biggest mistake. I really should have trusted myself.
Did you know that you needed to follow your own intelligence, but you didn't
No. I totally did not trust my own intelligence. Totally was like, shut up. You probably don't know.
Okay.
Right. And this voice that he was giving me was so confident And I was like, trust the confident voice. I was doubting myself. In my gut, I knew it wasn't working, but I didn't trust myself at all. So I went with someone who was very confident. And I think that's like my biggest failure of like, always trust yourself, even when you're feeling discouraged, even when there's a lot of doubt. You need to trust yourself more than other voices. He was just confident for no reason. Some people are confident for no reason because they're delusional, maybe. I don't know. But there was no follow through. It was just all a lot of pizzazz. You know, I think I learned a big lesson. I spent 2024 making it the year of building back credit with myself so that I can trust myself again, so that I'm willing to invest in myself again. It's not the first time I've abandoned myself for somebody else's confidence. It will be the last time. I will tell you that.
Yeah, thank you for sharing this story, because I feel that one of the biggest lessons as well I got just growing up is I used to think that people just had the knowledge. They're an expert, so they're perfect. They know everything. And I've been challenged in so many ways. And it's hard because I want to be able to even pay someone and they do all the work and it's magic, and it's not working like this.
Thank you for sharing. That's exactly it. There's no easy way and nobody knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Right? If you don't have a little bit of doubt, then you're delusional. Right? So thank you for sharing that. Yeah, that's what it is. It's just the hard work daily, every single day, consistency and building self-esteem by following through on things, being willing to fail and then learn and do it better really is the secret to everything.
There is no shortcut. And to balance that first question about failure, I have to ask you about a recent win, because I feel like we don't celebrate our wins enough. So I want to know what's a recent win, either personal or professional, that you would like us to celebrate with you.
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. I don't even have it on the front of my brain. Something I have to think about. 1 second. What's a win? God.
I'll take a sip of water so you have
Take a
time.
sip of water. Oh my gosh, what is even a win? I know I discredit my own win.
You have a lot of them, I know.
I have a lot. Okay, what's a win? I think for me, giving up my idea of what I can do to make money and inviting a whole bunch of new possibilities into my studio, into my business. So right now I'm marketing on Peerspace.
Yes.
I'm starting to market to rent out the studio and to run it and to manage it as a business and market it to the public. I think that's a big win for me. I have kind of found a way to make money without having to be there 100% of the time, and started renting it out to people so that they can use the studio. That's a big win for me. Is that a win?
I love that. That's amazing. You thought about what are the other ways I can monetize my resources, and you found it, and I know you took action as well.
Yes.
So these are big wins, and we'll share when you have the link. I would love to share it on our website as well.
Great.
So this way,
Thank you.
people, if you need a great space in downtown Toronto, I went to visit it last week. It's awesome. You'll find that link on this podcast episode. So
thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, great.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome. Yes.
Thank you.
And to conclude my set of questions, I wanted to ask you, what do you have going on with your business, with the studio? What's next? Where can we learn more about you and what you do?
Well, I do have a website. It's RobynKayStudio.com. ROBYNKAY Studio singular.com is my website. You can find me there, or on Instagram at Robyn Kay Studio. You can find me. I do have another set of classes coming up July 15th, and then in September, and then in November, another session Classes will be running pretty much from now until Christmas time. Meisner classes to get you into the deepest truth of self and get you some clarity and fully expressed.
And to clarify, are these classes just for actors?
Great question. It's not just for actors. It's for actors and anybody with a soul. If you have a desire to connect, this class is for you. Even if you're a seasoned actor, if you're taking Meisner for the first time, it's not like any other acting class you've been to. So come check it out. It's a great way to really find clarity within yourself and build confidence and really start to use your voice in ways you never have before and connect to people, fall in love with human beings. It's a really beautiful practice. So thank you for that. Yeah, anybody can come. Everybody's welcome.
That's awesome. I will add these informations on goodinmotion.ca. Thank you so much for a good chat, Robyn.
Juliette, thank you so much. This was such a pleasure for me. Thank you.